Thank you. Good morning. There's always a lot of pressure when you're the first speaker. I'll actually hold the mic, it's easier. Morning. Do you know that you will die? No. Before you send out security at me, and I've not planned anything, I promise, I just want you to think about this question. Do you know that one day you will die? That the only thing that is inevitable after your birth is your death. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. I don't know if it's ever crossed your mind, or this is the first time you're being asked this question. Now I'm asking you to think about it. And between the time that you were born and that you die, there'll be plenty of moments. Moments that you cannot plan for, moments that you are unaware of, moments that you cannot predict, moments that will make you question yourself, moments that will make you feel great, some moments that will make you feel not so great. Let me tell you about the moments in my life, and I'll take you through them per decade. So in the first decade of my life, at the age of 6, I lost my father. And that was a traumatizing moment. For a young girl, I completely didn't understand what was going on. In the second decade of my life, I lost my brother in a car accident. I was 17. And that's a moment that I will never forget. And in between those 2 decades, in school, I was heavily bullied. But it's not all gloom and doom in my life, I promise. In my 20s, I discovered the media, and the media discovered me. I became a household name in regards to radio. I was a radio presenter, an award-winning television presenter. I was in print media, and I had the opportunity of representing my country on a global platform as Miss India Kenya. It was interesting. I had fun moments. There were moments where I was recognized and people asked me to take their picture with them. I discovered myself, and I'll never forget those moments. In my 30s, I got married at 30. And the next thing that I wanted to do was become a mother. So my husband and I got right down to it. And within that first year, I was pregnant. And I'll never forget that moment when I went to the radiologist for my scan. And he said to me, "This pregnancy is non-viable." And I thought, I don't understand what you're saying. I did my part. I got pregnant. You do your part now. Do the rest. And he's like, "No, I don't think you understand. It's non-viable." And I said, this is really strange, because as a woman, it's my God-given right to become a mother. And I think as I began my 30s, life was sitting in a corner, and she probably gave me a side eye and raised her eyebrows and thought, she had a great decade in her 20s. Let's just shake it up a little bit. So in my denial, I was sent to the gynecologist, and the gynecologist said to me, "Look, there is no heartbeat with your pregnancy, which means there is no pregnancy." And I said, no. I started negotiating. Maybe you got the dates wrong, maybe something happened. And she said, "All right, go home, come back after 2 weeks, we will do another scan." And the night before we had the other scan, I had a dream. And I'm not a very religious person, I'm spiritual, I respect all religions. But I had a dream of Jesus Christ. And there he was in his white robe. And he smiled at me and held his belly. And he said to me, "Your baby is now with me." And when I woke up the next morning, I knew that this pregnancy was not viable. But that moment made me want to be a mother even more. So for 2 years I tried. I lost 2 more pregnancies. I was on medication, I had surgeries. My body was tired, emotionally exhausted. And then I got pregnant again, and I went to get my scan done. at 5 weeks, because after a series of miscarriages, they send you earlier for a scan. And I remember that moment. I crossed my fingers and I held my breath. And the doctor said, "There's a heartbeat." I produced a heartbeat. I'll never forget that moment. And then 9 months later, I had my baby girl, and I heard her cry, and I'll never forget that moment. Today, Ariana is 7, going on 17, and she does tell me, "You know, Mama, when I am 17, you'll be part of the elderly." And yeah, she has a mouth on her. But, you know, the things she says makes me cherish my moments with her. And a year after Ariana was born, I found out I was pregnant again. And I went for my scan at 5 weeks and there was a heartbeat. And they sent me back for a scan after a month, which they do, after 4 weeks. So I think I went in at 9 weeks, 6 days. And the baby's size was 9 weeks, 2 days. And there was no heartbeat. So this means that the baby had died. And then I went home and I remember this moment where I said to my husband, "You know what, Raj, I think we are being too greedy. We're okay with 1 child." And after 2 years, Ariana's 3, pottering around the house, and she walks into my room and she goes, "Mama, God told me you have a baby in your belly." I said, "All right." And she did this on the second day. "Mama, God told me you have a baby in your belly." She did this for 4 days. And I thought, okay, I need to take this child seriously because I do believe in the connection between God and children. It's very pure. So I went straight for a scan. I didn't pee on a stick because, you know, that test is almost immediate. They can give you the results much quicker. And after 2 hours, the moment when the lab called me, and they said the level is 700 and something. And I said, no, what does that mean? He says it means you're a week pregnant. And I was like, huh. And of course, after 9 months, I held my beautiful baby boy in my arms. Today, Aryan is 3, he's very naughty. But he gets away with everything because he holds my face with his 2 hands. And he gives me a kiss on my lips and he says, "Mama, you're beautiful." And these are moments that I will always, always treasure. So at the end of my 30s, it was reflective. I look back at this decade, magical moments, miracle moments, moments of anguish and trauma. And now I was heading towards my 40s, and I said, I've done it all. I've seen death, I've seen pain, I've handled relationships and friendships, I've found love, I handled career and success, I've managed motherhood, marriage, so my 40s, it's all going to be about me. And I used to say this to friends, maybe from a very egotistical point of view. And maybe there she was, life in the corner, looking at me thinking, yeah, this decade is going to be about you. So 2 months before I turned 40, I think life pulled up her sleeves, she rubbed her palms together, and she grabbed that ball, and she curved it at me, and it smacked me right in my face. There came a moment where I watched my mom have a full-blown stroke. It affected the left side of her brain, which means her right side is paralyzed, and she lost her speech. And this is the situation 2.5 years later today. And I never thought I would witness the moment where the woman who I always depended on, my friend, my confidant, would depend on me, that I would become one of her caregivers. I never knew that there would be a moment in my life that the voice I depended on so much would be silenced. And I never knew that there would be a moment where I'd be mourning a person who is alive. Let me take it back to a slightly happier time, a much happier time actually. A week before I got married, friends of mine from New York came to see me. And, they couldn't come to my wedding. So they said, look, we're going to come with our words of wisdom. and wish you well for your wedding. They had got married a year before. And Jesse, the gentleman, said to me, he said, you know what, Pinky? During your wedding, be in the moment. And there were such simple words, yet so powerful. It's like a penny dropped. And I understood. How often do we go by life when things are overwhelming, or things are crazy busy, or very happy, and there's so much going on that we let life pass us by in a haze, and things are blurry and we're not clear on details. So in that week that it took for me to get married, because Indians have big fat weddings, we don't have small skinny ones, we have big fat weddings. And sometimes it's a week and sometimes it's much longer. In that week of which I got married, I can tell you about smells and scents. I can tell you about conversations that I had. I can tell you about what I wore, how I felt. And when I was feeling a bit anxious and worried, as a bride does sometimes, I reminded myself of those words, be in the moment. And in those throes, those new throes of motherhood, when my baby got up screaming at 3 in the morning, I was already exhausted because the day sort of was like that, where she's crying and she can't tell me what's wrong. And I ran to cuddle her and comfort her. Maybe she was teething. And I reminded myself of these words, be in the moment. I had another revelation, that nothing I could do could change the moments leading up to that moment. And also this moment would not last forever. So let's take it back to when I watched my life completely change. And my soul was broken and shattered. And I needed to heal it. My cousin Radhika said to me, she said, you need to do some yoga. And I had done yoga in my teens. I dabbled. I used to tell people, I was a yoga. I wear yoga pants. And I think a different type of yoga awaited me. Because the guru, or the yoga teacher that I was introduced to, she taught yoga in 3 forms, mind, body, and soul. And what I learned from her is that things flow when mind, body, and soul are connected. I wouldn't say that when mind, body, and soul are connected, things are easier, but life flows with ease, if that makes sense. My new yoga teacher, his name is Kevin. He puts me in these really awkward asanas, which are postures, very, very uncomfortable postures. And he says to me, when your body feels like giving up, that is the moment that you are actually growing. And if you've ever been to a yoga class, they will always tell you, breathe in and breathe out. So why am I telling you this? I'll tell you. And how does it apply to life? Well, like I said, when the 3 things are connected, mind, body, and soul, things flow with ease. And when life shoves you in a corner, or throws you a really bad curveball, or makes things very uncomfortable, that is when you are growing. And when you want to be in the moment, all you need to do is breathe in and breathe out. So if you can, do that with me right now. Just breathe in, inhale, and exhale. Let's do it once more, this time a bit deeper. Inhale, and exhale. And once more. Inhale, and exhale. And there you go. That is a tool for you to know on how you can be in the moment. It's called mindfulness. It's called breath. It's called meditation. To me, it's called being in the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, between the time that you were born and the time that you die, there will be many moments. There will be moments where you wonder, why did this have to happen? There will be moments where you will be grateful. Thank you that this happened. But unless you are truly in the moment, You don't know what it is to be truly alive. You have the tools. Every moment, be in the moment. With gratitude, namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pooja. That was beautiful. This is a little present from ISK to you.